Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining me at this very first time I'm going to be running this training as a 1 hour workshop. I normally do this training over 5 days and it's usually around 10 to 15 hours long. So I'm going to do my best to compress the knowledge into a short hour. And the reason is I know you're busy. Many of you have wanted to come along to the longer training, but because you don't have the time, I'm actually running this as a summarized 1 hour for you. And within this 1 hour, you are going to be able to make an offer that sells itself. Now, who here wants results quickly? If you want results quickly, drop a Q in the chat. So if you're somebody who wants results quickly, drop a Q in the chat. Yeah. Having said that, how many years have you been trying to make money in your coaching business? So for most people on average, it's between 3 and 10 years that they've been trying to make money in the coaching world, in the coaching business. And I know that there's a lot of complicated things that are happening in the coaching industry. I'm also going to be calling out some of the things that are not going very well, and that my coaching colleagues are not doing very well. Is that okay if I'm very direct and straightforward with you today? Yeah, awesome. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Rani, and 20 years ago, I became a paid coach. I decided that I wanted to be a coach. I did my qualifications in 2003, and I decided that I wanted to actually become a paid coach. And I wanted to actually have my full-time income coming in as a paid coach. However, I didn't know how to do it. So I kept on going back to the banking world and I kept on doing this uninspiring job that every night I used to come home and feel like I really didn't achieve anything. And then on the weekends, I would do the coaching and I would do more and more personal development. And I know that some of you here as well have had a very similar journey where you have a corporate job, which is kind of okay. It's not really inspiring. It's more just to pay the bills or even like golden handcuffs that keep you there because it pays so well. But unfortunately, it doesn't really fulfill your heart and your soul's mission. Now, is it okay if I just get a little bit woo-woo and spiritual here? Most of the people that come into my world, they do understand that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So if that means that we are in human form for about 100 years, if we're lucky, right? If we're healthy, then we really want to make it mean something. We really want to make it matter. And when we talk about making it matter, we're also talking about like how are we serving people from our hearts, heart to heart, soul to soul. And for many people, that means to be on purpose or to be on mission. And I know that for people who start doing personal development, this is the part of them they start to explore and they go, I understand myself more now. I know why I am the way I am. I'm really enjoying this and I'm feeling lighter. I'm feeling healed. And this is where people start to get kind of like the personal development bug and they want to know more about it. In the beginning, most coaches have already been coaching for a very, very long time. If you're somebody who has always been the one that people have come to for a chat, have come to for a cup of tea, or, go for a walk, and you're the one that usually gives them solutions, just drop me in the chat. And that might have been from when you were a little kid. My child, I was speaking to her yesterday. And I asked her, having these conversation cards at the end of dinner. And I said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And she said, I'd love to be a therapist. And I started laughing. And I said, is it because, mummy does that work? And she goes, no, I've been told that I'm really good at it, apparently, that her friends come to her when they have a problem and or if they have a conflict, she's the one that usually resolves it. And it got me thinking that probably many of you in this room have been coaching for way longer then you've realized that maybe you were the people that people would come to if they had conflicts or if they needed help. And if you have helped people in the past, could you put a value on how much you've probably saved them in, I guess, stress or even financially, maybe in marriage breakups. Could you put a dollar value on how much you've probably saved people over the years with your coaching, or maybe just even having a conversation? Now, before we get stuck into it, I'd really love to know, you can raise your hand if you're a coach or you're curious about how coaches get clients. So if you can raise your hand for that. And raise your hand if you've ever felt nervous asking for someone to pay you for your coaching or for making an offer. Yeah. And raise your hand if you've bought a really expensive course in the past that promised you, sales and leads, but you never figured out how the other people that are making the really big sales, right, are making them so naturally and easily. Yeah. So would you like me to show you today? Awesome. Well, let's get stuck into it because we're going to be covering three main things. The first thing is that we're going to be covering what you might be doing to put people off from buying your programs and your coaching and your offers. The second thing that we're going to cover is what you need to do in order to structure your offer as a no-brainer. And the third is the psychology behind sales. So let's get stuck into it because there's a lot that we need to cover today. So let's start with why most offers don't sell. And I just want to say, by the way, it's not just you or me. It's not just us new coaches that's, can do a bad offer pitch. I actually wanted to call out a few that I've seen by really well-known professionals. I was at the ICC and Deepak Chopra was talking about AI and health. And he had a very unclear offer, which meant that people didn't know what the next steps were. In fact, at the very same event, this is Joseph McClellan, and he also does some work with Tony Robbins. He was at the event here in Sydney, and he had a very misleading offer. He actually said to people, I'm going to privately, personally coach you, which is misleading. Okay. Um, then there's Tony Robbins. I was there at UPW, I think last year or the year before, and he had no clear one next step. What does that mean? It means that people don't know what their next step is, should they choose to work with you. We're going to get a little bit deeper into this because one of my beloved mentors, Dr. Demartini, he also struggles a little bit with selling from stage. And I actually ran the sales for him in Breakthrough Experience in October 2024. And just in case you don't know who I am, there should be no reason for you to know who I am. I am personally mentored by Dr. Demartini. We've had quite a few interviews. We've had about 6 hours of interviews if anyone's interested in having a look at those. I am running a show on Central Coast Radio, and I have a published book where the foreword has been written by Dr. Demartini. I've done a lot of selling in person and online. I've won awards and I won a Hurt Locker Championship, which is where I made $500,000 in 100 days. And that's a worldwide competition. 22 years of relationship coaching experience and 8 years of business coaching, which really actually helped me understand that sales is really relationships. Obviously had thousands of clients, 790 clients who were coaches and 27 countries around the world. In the 22 years that I've been coaching, I've met approximately 5,000 coaches to talk to. I mean, of course, I've met way more, but just to talk to and get to know their life, because I usually meet about 5,000 coaches a year. But I don't have 5,000 conversations, and I've had 5,000 in-depth conversations about coaches making money, and only 4% have actually made consistent money, and only 1% make enough money to pay for their dream lifestyle. So that statistic is actually quite shocking. And I started to notice that there were certain things that were happening in the coaching world. And with my background in IT and computer programming and analytics in the bank, I started to understand, well, there's certain people that are bound to be successful in coaching, and there's others that are going to struggle. And I started to understand what they were. So I'm going to be sharing that with you today. We're really going to talk about why your offers don't sell, as in what you might be doing to put people off, how to package your irresistible offer, and removing money and sales mindset blocks, because the sales psychology is going to be how we're going to sell. There are safety checkpoints in the brain, and if people are not feeling that you're safe to buy from, or they know, like, and trust you, they will not buy. I wanted to share this diagram really, really fast. It's also like the iceberg that many of you may have seen in different contexts. People may have seen, me winning awards and trophies and having all this exposure and, you know, all the external glory. But what you really don't see is the years of sacrifice and, really staying healthy, good habits, keeping really, really focused on times when I didn't feel like doing this. Some days I woke up and I was like, I really don't feel like doing this, honestly. Keeping a growth mindset, managing disappointments, really being persistent, working on my daily goals, meeting my targets. How much this has cost me? I mean, it's taken me at least $500,000 worth of training to be sitting here in front of you today. How well I've had to manage my time, how determined I've been. So many tears, disappointments, rejections, sleepless nights, right? To get to here. And I'm going to be sharing with you absolutely everything that I've learned in 22 years on why people are getting paying clients and how to actually position your offer so you can get paying clients. I'm going to pressure hose that down into 1 hour. Now, my first question for you is, how is it possible that you haven't got to where you want to be in your coaching business yet? So just a quick reflection, if you can drop in the chat. And is it okay if today we're really respectful of one another? Like, if anything comes up here, we're going to take care and respect one another's shares. We're not going to be here in judgment or, go out and speak about anything that we actually have seen shared here. Is that okay? Yeah, so your question really, and I'd love for you to reflect on this, is how is it possible that you haven't got to where you want to be in your coaching business yet? And I'd love for you to drop in the chat what you think it is. Now, obviously, I'm going to help you today. I'm going to help you get moving. The first thing that I wanted to quickly talk to you about is our fast track to paying clients model. And this is what we do for our coaches that jump on board. First, we help them get clear on their niche, on why they want to actually coach those people, and a clear pathway in order for their clients to get the results. Then we help them get clients, because many people are saying, well, how and where do I meet them? And then position yourself as an authority and how to connect with them. Eventually, we want to have the ability to convert all of that into cash. So what we're doing today in here is we're going to be building an offer where it just sells itself. It becomes a no-brainer. We're also going to be touching on some of the sales psychology. And for our coaches, we also teach them how to have world-class competency so they can deliver on what it is that they've promised. So, would you like to see the exact way that I've scaled my business to seven figures, all organically without paid ads? This is the same system that's enabled me to make 500K in 100 days and also 300K in 2 weeks, right? At one point. So, if you want to know, just watch out really, really closely here. Now, before we start, I want to just quickly show you the win-win business model. Many people, they think that their offer has to be like a win for you, but not a win for your client. But if you think about it, you're both winning. And if you think with that attitude, it's going to be easier for you to serve more people. Okay. So let's get to the win-win business model. Many of you would have seen me on Facebook, right? Some kind of Facebook content. And then you may have come to a free training, such as the fast track to offers that sell, or like today, make an offer that sells itself. Okay. And your next step. So I'm saying this language really deliberately to demonstrate to you that whoever comes to your free training needs to know what their one next step is. So your next step, should you love what you see today, is to book a fast track application call, and we'll talk about how you can do that after. The offer that will be made at the end of today, and if you are interested, it's the fast track to paying clients system. We don't offer the high end here. So why do I tell you ahead of time? Well, when people come to a free training such as this, you really want to be transparent with them that you are going to be giving them all of this generously from the heart, but there is an opportunity for them to continue to work with you. It's also like when you go on a date, right? So if you go on a really great date and the person thinks, this is amazing, you do want to know there's an option or that that person's available to continue dating with. And I know that it probably seems really, really obvious, but for many people, that doesn't always feel like it's the case. Many of you have this deep longing, this deep soul and heart longing to coach, to serve people, to help heal people. And I get that. I felt the same way for a very long time, but I just didn't know how to make money from it. And what that meant was I just kept going back to my corporate job, which was unfulfilling. And it felt like I just didn't really understand what I was doing, why I was doing it. And on the way, there were all kinds of courses where people were promising me all kinds of things, but they didn't work. So I know many of you have spoken to me already that it feels a little bit like you have one foot on the accelerator and one foot on the brake. Who can relate to that? One foot on the accelerator and one foot on the brake. And I'd like to say to you, it's actually not your fault. You have been just focusing on the wrong thing. So if this is a speedometer, I want to let you know that it's actually not your fault because the things that you've been focusing on or the courses that you've been buying are the courses that offer you, hey, I'll get you more leads and I'll get you more sales. I'm going to demonstrate to you today why that's a flawed concept if you're not clear on the foundations. Now, what do I mean by the foundations? What I mean is that you need to be clear on the first half of this speedometer. Okay, so you need to understand, first of all, why do you want to be a coach? Because I'm promising you there's going to be days you don't feel like getting up and doing it. You may have a workshop like this and you're like, nah, I don't feel like running it that day. So if your why is not greater than yourself, you're just not going to want to do it. Who do you serve? What do you help them with? Now, for many people, they decided they don't need a niche. That's okay. There have been occasional people who just get sessions paid by the hour and they get referrals. It's not my recommendation to do it that way. I believe that you can help more people on scale And in order for you to really make the money that, that you deserve, you're going to need to understand your niche pretty clear. What we're going to be looking at today is also your offer. So when you have a clear offer, it's going to be a complete game changer. You'll position yourself as an expert and authority in your field, and then you'll have a way to actually get consistent leads coming in for free at first. And there's a reason we do it for free at first, is because if we go straight into what the classic mistakes are, right? The classic mistakes are the ways that don't work. People will go for paid ads on Facebook. And I think the last one I was speaking to said that his friend had spent $10,000 on Facebook ads and not even got one single paying client. Appointment setters, okay? These people are in your DMs saying to you, I'll get you leads, I'll get you people on the call. But I'll let you know why that's flawed too. Slamming offers on your profile, like buy it now and then, hey, take this, buy this, get this. It can come across quite sleazy. And then if you're posting incessantly on too many platforms, it can lead to posting burnout. But what we really want to get is we want to get clear on the foundations first, clear on why we want to become a coach, who we're serving, what we're helping them with, have a really, really brilliant offer. And this is going to help us to get clients, because our offer is going to be so clear when we have conversations. It'll position us as an expert and authority. We'll have consistent leads coming in. It's only then that we really need to focus on the leads. And then we coach them to a point where they're having, such great results. They're raving fans, okay? And this is what translates into cash. People will apply for your coaching. They'll have all the sales conversations. And in our program, we also remove money blocks, and we'll be talking about that later, because a lot of people have blocks in their body that stops them from asking for the sale. A quick summary of the old way or the dumb way is when you might have in the past, and it's not your fault, you might have bought a course that was just advertising you more leads and more sales, but did not help you in a meaningful way to build the foundations. Now, I have seen some courses where they do a perfunctory, 1 or 2 hours on let's work out your niche and let's work out your offer, but many coaches are still stuck. And when they ask for coaching around that, they're told, oh, just pick a niche. Just pick a niche. It's not a niching problem, it's a decision problem. Just keep going. Just pick a niche. And unfortunately, it can be quite stressful and depressing for somebody who's really, really struggling with moving in their business. Now, when you don't have clarity in the first half of the model, and we're actually using this model here, right? So when you don't have clarity in the very first half of the model here, what we're going to find is that you're going to struggle having conversations when, even if you are paying for ads, yeah, you're going to have struggle with having the conversation of what your offer is. So ads are an accelerator for what is working. I've already done 7 figures and I'm only now using ads. Okay. As a beginner, if you haven't made 7 figures yet, you don't need to run ads. Ads are an accelerator for what is already working. Okay, so if you spend money on ads or appointment setters, you're going to get a bunch of qualified and unqualified leads. But because you don't have a clear offer, right, you're going to have low confidence in yourself, in your product and client delivery, which means that when you do get on a call with them, you'll have a wishy-washy presentation and offer, which means that you'll have tons of money blocks coming up. This means no sales, no clients, no business, no results, no fans, and poor sales skills. Now, for many of you, who can relate to that? Who can relate to that's going to be the outcome if you don't have clarity in the first half? So the way that we're going to be learning how to do this is the new way. First and foremost, we're going to have clarity on the foundations. And second of all, we're going to have clarity on how to get the leads and the sales. But when you have clarity in the foundations, you're sure of why. Why do you want to coach? Why do you want to coach these people? Who is it you want to coach? What are you helping them with? That's your niche, okay? Will position you as the credibility and authority expert in your niche. That way you have a clear offer, and that's what we're going to be building today. By the end of today, you'll have a clear offer, okay? And that increases your confidence in yourself, in your client delivery, and in your product. What that means is when you jump on a call, you have a really precise presentation of your offer. And we do remove money blocks in this program, but it does feel like people are literally just throwing money at you. Yeah. It literally just feels, sorry, my mouse just keeps jumping. It just literally feels like people are throwing money at you, which means that you're going to have an improved sales skill and confidence. And what that also looks like is you're going to have more sales, more cash, more clients. This is when you get the dream business. This is where you have the dream life. This is where you get the raving fans and you feel competent. You have that delivery that you really want. You get the referrals and you get the reviews. So the method that I'll be sharing with you is a little deeper on that today. We're going to go through the 6 things that you're doing to actually turn people completely off buying your offer. We're also going to show you how to construct your offer so that people will actually buy it as a no-brainer. There's so much more, and I'm going to try and cover as much as I possibly can in this one short hour for you today, because I know it's so important for you to get to a place where you can go out, live your soul's mission, your heart's mission. And I'm going to show you a shortcut that I've also developed for coaches to develop their business around their mission. But I will help you to identify what your mission is. So with all that in mind, I cannot wait to see you. I am so super excited. I wanted to just drop this quick little video to let you know that if 2025 has not started the way that you were hoping, if you don't have the consistent paying clients, if things have just not been working out for you, there's probably a lack of clarity somewhere for you that we are going to get to today. So I'm just sending you love, and I will see you soon.